Hey everybody, how's it going? We're on episode 8 of the 2D Film Club podcast. Um, I got Cody with me again, and we are full of topics to discuss today with a lot of movies that have come out and some of the movies that we have watched in our film club. So, how are you
Ye-
doing, Cody?
Pretty awesome. Doing great.
It's been a good week of movie releases,
Yeah,
haven't it?
it's been a real good week. Yeah, I think that the two best movies of the year came out in the same week, so
Yeah,
I'm real
Mulan
happy right
and
now. Yeah, yeah, Mulan and um what's that show? I can't remember. I don't know. I was gonna make a joke, but I don't even know what the heck I'm thinking about. But yeah, Mulan, best movie of the year.
2020 Mulan, live action. Yeah,
Hmm.
man. But you been doing good this week, everything?
Yeah, yeah, everything's
Awesome.
going great. How about you, man? What's new?
Nothing much, just excited to be back in a movie theater and to have some movies come out on Netflix and just being able to watch some of these stuff. And then obviously like HBO Max has like some good series that came out and The Boys season 2
Oh
for
yeah,
Amazon that came out, so I'm anxious of watching that.
yeah. I'm excited to watch that too. I was thinking about that. Yeah, I need to start watching that. And then there's that. Uh, wait, what was the other show you just said?
It was the HBO Max one that
Okay, yeah, Raised by
really,
Wolves.
yeah,
Yeah, I
the
want to
trailer
check
that
that.
came on when I went to see Tenet with my wife, and
Oh,
afterwards,
really?
after the trailer, she was like, "That just looks really weird."
It does look pretty weird.
I was like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna watch it." So,
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna check it out. I think that the first three episodes are out,
yeah,
so that's cool. I definitely want to watch that. I'm excited for The Boys season two.
I know.
Season one was
It's a,
great.
it was, it was something completely different. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
see. Well, a different perspective, I would say. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
for
excited for
sure.
season 2 to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to stay away from like reviews or anything like that because I just want to watch it myself and see what I think
Mm-hmm.
of it.
Yeah. Same. Same. Yeah, I'm excited for it. And I've been watching Lovecraft Country on
I
HBO,
yeah, I need to watch that too. There's just so much
which
content out now
I
that
know all of
it's
a sudden,
exciting. Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
all of a sudden there's so much stuff to watch, so it's a good thing. But there's just a lot. There's probably even some things that I'm forgetting about right now,
Well, and
but
then
yeah.
you have these movies that have come out like Tenet, and I'm thinking of ending things, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have these TV shows, so it's like, okay, I want to watch these movies, and then I'll just watch these shows when I have time and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Heck yeah. Did you see did you see they released some images from David Fincher's new movie, Mank?
no,
The it's the movie about the making of Citizen Kane, and they released a few pictures from the movie and it looks awesome. Like I can't wait for that. So that's another movie I'm really excited for. I think it's a Netflix movie too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen that. Looks like
Yeah.
they just talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that new news. Other than that, I don't know what else, I don't know if there's any other like exciting news, um, but yeah, I'm excited for that. Should be good.
So you saw Tenet.
Yes.
What did you think about it?
Oh man. Well, first, how would you describe the movie? Like just in like a brief summary. Like what what is Tenet before we
You
talk
want me?
about it? Yeah, you do
It's
it.
just it's another one of those spy movies. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, your famous quote.
No, I didn't even think of it as like a spy movie, to be
Hmm.
honest. I know that you were joking about that, but that's not like what I was. I mean, I know like afterwards, like when they were talking to like Christopher Nolan about the movie, he's like, I just love spy movies, and I'm like, I didn't even think of it
Hmm.
in that perspective. But what was your question? Like, how would I like describe it? Or
Yeah, I mean, obviously without
yeah,
spoiling
I'm
it
not
or
gonna
anything.
spoil it. I just think it's in a completely. I feel like it's like an interstellar Inception combination
Hmm.
where it kind of deals with time. Obviously, I feel like Christopher Nolan loves to deal with movies in this certain way.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I like want to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil it for
Hmm.
anybody.
Yeah,
But
we're definitely we're not going to spoil anything. We're probably not going to talk about it in too much depth or anything. We just want to kind of just put our thoughts out there, and same with I'm thinking of ending things because we don't want to spoil anything. We just want you guys to watch it, and obviously, um, yeah, their Tenet is it's definitely a lot like it reminds me of it just reminds me of Christopher Nolan. It's a movie
yeah,
that no one else could have made, and it's for Nolan movie I think he's made yet, and I loved it.
I
It
loved it too.
is it is a spy movie, but it has that Christopher Nolan kind of twist to it with some cool sci-fi elements dealing with time, with the whole inversion and everything. Um, and I really like the way that he handled it. And um, I saw it in IMAX, and I definitely think that this was one of the most just just the most like pure cinematic experiences that I think
Hmm.
that I've ever had. Like it just was so loud and bombastic and crazy and um just awesome. Like and as soon as it was over, I was just ready to watch it again.
Hmm.
Um,
Same. I saw it twice, so
yeah.
I was pretty glad that I was able to do that because the first time I feel like it's just like you're back in the movie theater. This is like one of those like really hyped up 2020 movies, and so you're back in a theater, and this it's been delayed since July, being able to see this movie. And so like the first time me seeing it, I was more just like in the zone of, you know, we're finally being able to see this movie because I know a lot of people were hoping that he would just release it VOD and and he said no, like I'm gonna
Yeah.
release this in theaters. So I'm glad that he did that, and I know we would have
Hmm.
been robbed of that theater experience. You saw it in IMAX. The second time I saw it in XD at Cinemark, and it was even better the second time, just with the scenes and how it, folded out and everything. So I'm really glad I did
Oh
see it a
yeah.
second time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna see it again. I probably will. I'll probably see it 3 times in theaters. I like. I'm pretty sure I will. I'm at least gonna go again, but I think that I'm gonna want to go another again too. Um, but yeah, I like you. The first time watching it, I knew that it was going to be, maybe a little bit complex, and you're gonna have to put some things together. And so, I was definitely thinking as I was watching the movie,
Yeah.
but I wasn't trying too hard. Like I was just kind of, I just let the movie wash over me and enjoyed it. And it definitely it requires a little bit of putting things together, but I don't think it's too bad where in the end, I mean, it makes sense, and then but when you go back and watch it again, you'll be rewarded for you'll see um you'll see how things kind of play into the end and everything, and where it's going. So
I think that's what I
um
like about Interstellar. I mean, not Interstellar. I mean, Christopher Nolan movies. I just
uh
really enjoy with Interstellar and, um, even The Prestige, like all these other movies that he's created. It's one of those. It's an experience of where you go back a second, third, or fourth time. You're beginning to
mhm.
maybe understand it a little bit more, but even appreciate it also in a different way. And I felt like the same way with Tenet the second time I saw it. Yeah, obviously I was able to understand a little bit more, but I was able to soak in a lot more of what he was doing making this film. And then the same goes
Hmm.
for Interstellar. Seeing it for my third time, I was really able to appreciate it, even though it's a 2 hour and 49 minute movie. That whole time, I was just glued the whole time because I was fascinated with how he was telling a story. And I feel like that's what he does a good job with his movies, is being able to tell a story and having you be, drawn to it. So
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And he put so much care and effort into just the little details. Um, and yeah, and I think that applies to pretty much all of his movies, where I feel like every time I watch them, or like on the second viewing of all these movies, I've enjoyed them more, and you have that appreciation
yeah.
for all the details. And when you're watching again, you're like, oh, like, oh, okay, I see. Like some things that you might have missed the first time that might have not seemed like anything, super important, but when you know the context of the whole film, it all kind of comes together. But yeah. It's pretty awesome. I think that the all the action set pieces were really, really cool.
Yeah, the last like
I mean,
40 minutes was just insane.
yeah, I've never seen anything like that in a movie before, like ever. And I wasn't even I did not expect. I mean, without spoiling it, I just did not expect it to go there. I mean, not it just with that action, that whole set piece, the ending was just so crazy and awesome, and so worth seeing in theaters. And same with the plane that crashes. It's in the trailer, and like there's the highway like chase scene and all these just all the action scenes were done so well. And I think that this is um in the beginning of the movie there's a fight scene that's like in a kitchen, and right then I was like, okay, I think that this is Christopher Nolan directing action better than he ever has before, because the action in his other movies has always been good, but I feel like it was like really, really good, and just really well executed. And especially with how they had to do the inverted scenes and all that. So I really appreciated that.
No, I completely agree. And I feel like, seeing the trailer and stuff, you kind of had some expectations of what this movie's about because, they kind of talked about with it being related to time and everything. But as you go throughout the movie, obviously with these kind of things, it doesn't really make sense, but you have a good understanding of the direction that he was trying to tell. So then you can
Mm,
walk away wanting to think more about it, but being able to somewhat be comfortable with the idea of what you watched. So
yeah, agreed. Agreed. And I think
that
the
cheese
performances
grater,
were great. Oh, oh, that cheese
that
grater.
cheese
Yeah,
grater.
gotta love it. But the performances were great. John
Yeah.
David Washington was really good, and I really loved Robert Pattinson. And
Hmm.
I didn't know how much he was going to be in the movie. From the trailers, it didn't seem like he was going to have like a huge role, but so it was nice to see um, how important his role was in the movie, and I just really enjoyed his character. He's such a good actor, and he can do anything really.
And I thought Kenneth did a good job as well. And then, of course, the legendary Michael Caine. Just
Michael Caine in every freaking Christopher Nolan movie.
he's like that little cameo where you're like, "Where is
Hmm.
he? Where? Oh, there he is! There he is!" But I loved his little like cameo in the
Yeah,
movie. It was much
yeah,
needed, and it was like that little, yeah,
yeah, I liked it too. And I like there's a scene where they are out to lunch or whatever, and there's some there's some funny there's actually some funny moments in this movie. It's not like there's not so much humor, but there's a lot for a Christopher Nolan film. Like I think that this is the funniest movie that Christopher Nolan has ever done,
yeah.
because he normally doesn't have very much comedy. Um, but I think that like the few parts that were funny, I think that they worked. And I mean, I chuckled a few times watching the movie, which was kind of a nice little surprise without going to, it wasn't like too silly or anything, but it was just interesting. But I enjoyed that.
No, I definitely did as well. But it's a good movie. So everybody, if you have the opportunity and your theater is open, go see it. Definitely see it in IMAX, XD, whatever the biggest screen, the loudest theater you can go to. It's a movie experience that you want to see in the theater, so do it.
Definitely.
But I mean, talking about other movies that came out this week, I also watched Mulan that came out
Hey,
on Disney. Um,
so how was it?
I gave it 2.5 stars.
Okay, okay.
I
So,
gave it
best
3,
movie.
and then I thought about the movie, and I was like, no,
Wow.
as I was watching the movie, I wasn't more so like mad that they didn't implement like the songs and like all of like the other Mulan, like that cartoon, like so well, because I
Wow. So,
understood
so the
like
wait, this one's not like a musical at all. Like, do they sing any of the
no,
songs
they don't
from?
sing anything,
Oh, really? Oh,
nothing.
I didn't know it.
Uh-uh.
That's interesting.
There's nothing. I mean, there are like scenes where like in the background you hear like they implemented some of like like the notes of songs like into like the scene
Hmm.
so you kind of remember.
Uh-huh.
But, I watched Chris Tuckman's review on YouTube, and then I watched the movie, and everything that he said in his review is like spot on like about the movie.
Yeah.
Like he just talks about how like this movie like I feel like in Aladdin, yes, it implemented like some to it, but it still had the classic in it. And so it's
Hmm.
like, okay, I can understand what they were trying to do with somewhat of the new stuff, but I'm glad that they still had the old things. And like you were able to kind of be like, yeah, I understand what this movie's going to be about, but I still want to watch it. But as I was watching this, they were relying way too much on you like having that information already that they didn't do anything. And I feel like every
Mm.
character was kind of flat as well. I think the
Yeah.
girl that played Mulan, like she just was very straight faced, like just no emotion, nothing. It's just it wasn't good. It I it's yeah, after I got done watching it, like some of the people we were watching with were like, "Oh yeah, I liked it," and then me and my wife looked at each other and we're like, "No, like we didn't like it at all." Like
Dang.
it's disappointing because I would have to say it's probably Disney's worst live action that they've made,
Wow.
and it's like one of like the most popular Disney movies that I feel like they've made, and it's just a shame that you're gonna have a bunch of more people when it comes out for free, like on December, watch it, and that rating I feel like is gonna start dropping on Rotten Tomatoes because I just I don't think people are gonna like it.
Hmm. Well, I'm not surprised.
It was just boring. It was boring.
Yeah, sounds about right. I think Disney's really lazy with these live action remakes. I think that they're, I don't know if any of them are really that good. Um, I don't think. I think I
You
like,
didn't see Lion King, right?
nope, and I probably never will.
Because I would say it's just like the Lion King, where like but at least Lion King like had the songs in it, whereas in Mulan didn't. There's
Yeah.
nothing implemented that's new. It's just the same story. They rely on all the other information that you already know of. And I mean, like, there's a scene where, in the classic one, Mulan is like, getting dressed. Like, she knows that she's going to go fight in the army and everything. It's like a very dramatic and powerful scene. And this one, it's like 2 seconds. She changes, she like looks at her family as she departs, and then that's it. It's like where's the emotion, the storytelling in that scene? It was just completely
Mm,
lost. And so, yeah, I don't know.
sad.
Disappointed. If that's the one word I can say about this movie, just disappointed.
Yeah. Well, what do you think Disney's gonna do once they've remade like once they've done live action remakes of everything? I mean, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna gonna remake them again?
I probably like I don't know, maybe in
I feel like they don't
cartoon.
know what to do. I think that this is just it's proven that it will make money. And so, and the script is already there. I mean, all they have to do is just turn it into a live action film, and it just seems like they don't care enough, and they also miss the point of some of these movies. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, the whole thing with Lion King. I mean, all the characters in the new one, they have no like facial expressions, and it just things like that. I'm like, what? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to me,
Well,
and I don't.
go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna
I
say,
don't.
for me, like, I feel like the thought process of it, like, just makes sense. Where they're like, you know what, some of these movies have been a success so far. Let's just do it for all of them, just because that maybe that's what
Oh
everybody
yeah.
wants, and it makes complete sense. Like, as soon as
Oh
you
yeah.
do
People
Beauty and the
keep
Beast,
going.
people are like, you know what, do Lion King. I want to see Lion King in live action. You know what, do Jungle Book, do this, do that. And I feel like they should have just like stuck to like a small, I don't, almost like sampling and being like, hey, okay, so Mulan, Cinderella, Aladdin, the very top-notch ones. Let's just do these, and let's just not worry
Hmm.
about the rest of them. But when you do like all these other ones that yeah, people love, but it's not like if someone has to choose between Jungle Book and Mulan, I think people are gonna want Mulan. So like just in Lion King, like I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I have.
But you know what? I think the Jungle Book is the best one so far,
Oh,
in my
really?
opinion. Actually,
I
yeah,
mean, I
I
haven't
like the
seen it
Jungle Book
forever, and
one.
I guess it was good. I'm just saying, like they, I feel like they just did too many, and I think people started losing
Yeah.
interest in it, and so instead of like going and like having that experience, like seeing these movies in live action, I just lost that newness to
Yeah.
it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to it's hard to even really blame Disney
Yeah.
because I mean, we keep seeing them like people keep obviously they keep going and they keep making money, so of course they're going to keep making them
How much money did they
until
make from this so far?
I have no idea. But I'd be interested to know. But yeah, they keep making money though. I don't remember how well The Lion King did, but um,
It said
yeah,
Mulan made $6 million overseas, but I haven't seen anything about like anything else really.
yeah,
But it makes sense. Like they're definitely gonna make money from it. But
yeah, of course, of course.
you
So yeah, they're just printing money.
yeah.
So it's hard to blame them, but it is really just frustrating because I I think that they could make more money if they just put a little bit more care into some of them. Like
Hmm.
just show that you care about your own properties instead of just cranking out these you know, okay to bad remakes of mostly great animated films. So,
When I feel like
I don't know.
everybody always they want a Mulan like right away. We want Mulan. We want Mulan. We want Mulan because everybody
Hmm.
enjoys it. And then right away from the first trailer, everybody was disappointed right off the bat. And so it
Yeah.
was just kind of a bummer. And I even, like I said it from the very beginning, I was trying to put that aside of, you're not going to have the songs, you're not going to have that. You know what? This is the first PG-13 live action one, so this will be exciting to see the action scenes. But then the action scenes, like, weren't really bad at all. Like, it was still very Disney-fied. And so I don't even know why
Mm.
it was PG-13. Like, so,
Yeah.
if they maybe try to go that route, then maybe make it PG-13. Like maybe try to make it lean more towards that. So,
Yeah.
and then I probably would have enjoyed those scenes a little bit more. But yeah,
Oh well.
it was pretty lackluster. Yeah.
Yeah. True. It is what it is. Well, so you give it 2.5.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it yet, but I'll probably watch it. I mean, when it's on Disney Plus for free, I'll watch it. Just out of curiosity. Um, but I don't know. I still haven't seen The Lion King, so maybe I won't.
Maybe you just watch all of the live action ones and
Ugh.
Mulan in December.
I think of all the ones that I haven't seen, and then even just thinking about watching all of them just sounds so dreadful. Like I don't want to.
Which
I
ones
just
do you
don't want
still have to watch? Like pretty much all of them,
to.
or
Well, I never saw Pete's Dragon, which that one actually I'm kind of curious about. Um, I don't think I ever saw the Cinderella one. Uh, I saw Beauty and the Beast. I haven't seen Lady and the Tramp. I
yeah,
saw
I didn't see that
I
one.
saw Aladdin. Um, I have not seen Dumbo.
I saw that
Oh
one.
yeah, and we're gonna get the 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
So yay! So exciting.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Hey, Lisa has Emma Stone, right?
Yeah,
We'll see how that goes.
cool,
Live
neat.
action dogs talking.
We watched another good movie this week. Thanks to Netflix and thanks to
Yes.
Charlie Kaufman. We I'm thinking of ending things. Just came out on Friday,
Yes.
and it's an adaptation of a book of the same name that came out in like 2015 by I think his name's Ian Reed. It's a psychological thriller drama um, where a couple. It's told from this perspective of the girlfriend, and they've been dating for like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that. And they're going off to go meet his parents, and things start getting kind of weird right off the start of the movie, and you don't know exactly what's going on, but you get some clues as to what it is, and you kind of it's another movie where you kind of have to unravel it and kind of piece things together. But yeah, what did you think of it, Nate? You
Um,
just watched it.
well, I'm gonna turn it back on you. You have read the book twice
yes,
now.
yes, I have.
So comparing the book to the movie, is it kind of similar, or like did he like what's the direction that Charlie went comparing the
Okay, so I kind of figured. I mean, once I read the book, I understood. I was like, okay, I can totally see why Charlie Kaufman would want to turn this into a movie. I get it. It seems like something that he would do. Um, but I knew that he would take some liberties in changing some things, and so it's not completely like the book, but for the most part, it is. There are some differences, um, but I mean, the story is pretty much the same, but just some of the things are a little bit different. And I mean, I don't want to say what's different because I don't want to talk about any spoilers, but it is for the most part very true to the book and what the book and where it goes and how it ends and everything. But the way that the ending is done is very different. Um, a lot of the scenes in the car are very similar. It's almost the same with some maybe new dialogue. And then when they go to Jake's parents' house, it's also pretty much the same. But one of the things that Charlie Kaufman did, which was cool, is he was able to add a lot that, like a lot of visual things that couldn't couldn't be like you couldn't really necessarily put all those things in the book if you wanted to, but and so it's kind of nice to see um, what Charlie Kaufman did with some of the visuals and some of the things in the house. And I really liked what he did with the parents with Tony Collette and what's his name, the David Thewlis. What's his name? Thewlis, that guy. Both the parents I thought were great, and I think that's one thing that I think in the movie I would say is maybe better than the book is just how um, how interesting and weird and awkward
Oh,
the
yes.
parents are. Um,
That's so true.
but yeah, and Jesse Plemons and Jesse Buckley were both really great too. Um, all their performances were really good.
Yeah, I thought the cast was perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
Enjoyed everybody's performances and the awkwardness and each scene. But
Nice.
I did enjoy the movie. I mean, obviously with Charlie, like you are really gonna get a different type of movie. And it was funny because, afterwards I was looking at Twitter just to see what people were talking about. And it was just interesting to see. I think one of my I think one of the tweets I sent you, someone, uh, what did they say? They said, "Bless the random Netflix user that will watch I'm Thinking About Ending Things without knowing anything about Kaufman or
Yeah.
what the hell it is about." And it's so true.
Yeah.
Which, that like that I feel like that just draws you more into the type of style and the movies that he does. Seeing his other one, just we watched in our film club, uh, like a month or so, a couple months ago. It just made me appreciate this one a lot more. If I probably wouldn't have seen some of his other ones before watching this, I probably would have been completely lost and maybe disinterested. But I did really enjoy this movie and what it had to offer. And I was definitely confused. I definitely there was it has like there's some movies that you watch where it it's a thriller, like it's scary, like they go into like a creepy house and there's creepy parents, like that kind of thriller aspect. But this had like somewhat of that, but it was like awkwardness. It's like what the hell is going
Hmm.
on? And like it's uncomfortable, but like and so that's what kind of drew me in more into the movie was just the scenes where you were feeling uncomfortable. I feel like really made the movie a lot more intriguing and made me want to watch it even more and try to understand what was happening. You know?
Yeah, I think that this movie will definitely it will turn a lot of people off. I
Yeah.
think because I think some people will just see it and be like, "Oh, okay, this looks good." I recognize Tony Collette or someone that looks like
Yeah.
an interesting, like maybe it's a scary movie or something. And um, yeah, it's not gonna be what you think it is. And you definitely have to be in the right frame of mind and kind of prepared to
Yeah.
watch a Charlie Kaufman movie. So if you haven't seen his films before, then you don't really know what the heck you're getting yourself into. But um, yeah, I and it was interesting watching it because I just read the book again um, recently, which it was great reading it again because even the book is confusing as well. But I do think that the ending is a little bit more clear. Um, and so watching it, so watching it now, I pretty much it was easy for me to know what was going on because it was so there's so much of the same. But then when we got to the end, it was so different, and there were some things that were confusing to me after even reading the book twice. Um, but it's pretty great. I really loved it.
So you can go get a shake after watching that movie?
Heck yeah, I gotta get that Oreo burr from Tulsi Town. Is that what it's
Tulsi
called?
Town, get
Tulsi Town.
that
Did you
bird.
did you like the Tulsi Town song
Yeah, I
when
did.
Jake sings that in the car?
Yeah, dude, that was perfect.
I love that. And this movie is funny too. I think that some of the awkward parts in it
Yeah.
are really weird and very funny at times. Like it's just so out there and bizarre, um, and makes no sense at times. You're like, what?
When I love the
Um,
dialogue that they have, like in the car or at the dinner
hmm
table or back in the car, kind of like all those scenes, like I just love the discussions that they were having, and it would cut away to her kind of like talking to herself, and it would cut back to them continuing the conversation, talking about, and it's just yeah, they've been dating for 6 weeks, so they're still trying to get to know each other. So all the conversations that they're having, it's new to each one of them. So they're still getting to know each other in that perspective. So you're almost watching them, um, obviously as an audience trying to see like, okay, how is this going to play out? She's thinking
Hmm.
of ending things and, what is going to happen. And so, yeah, it was interesting how it was played out, and it makes me want to read the book. So
Yeah,
I might just have
I
to
think
borrow
that
that from you.
yeah, you can do that. I think the book is definitely worth checking out. It's because I think that um they both have their differences, but I think that they go well together. Like they
Yeah.
kind of complement each other. Like there's things in the movie that couldn't be done in the book, and there's things in the book where you're like, oh, like there's something that goes on, in the beginning of the movie. You notice like she gets these phone calls, and in the book, it goes more into some of those phone calls and what they are, and like the messages that she's getting. Um,
Mm.
so there's a lot of things that um, I don't know that kind of they both they go well together, and I don't think that either one of them take away from each other. And I think that Charlie Kaufman did a good job of doing something to kind of separate it a little bit and make it unique. And and I enjoyed that while being very true to the book and um, what the book is and where it goes with these characters. So it's pretty darn good.
I'm sold. I'll have to read it.
Sold.
And
Yeah.
it's nice when people do that with books and stuff, where they kind of implement some things like kind of bring a newness to it, but still rely on the book, and it keeps
Hmm.
the person that has read the book before like still interested and liking the direction like you were talking about that they're taking it. So that's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. But yeah, I loved it. I gave it a 4.5
I gave it
out
four
of
and a half
5.
as well.
Awesome.
What did you
I'm glad
what
that
did you
you
give Tenet?
are the same score.
Yep.
4.5.
4.5.
These are these are my two favorite movies of the year.
Tenet and I'm thinking of ending things.
Yep. So definitely watch them. If
Yes.
you yeah, you can watch. I'm thinking of anything's on Netflix. And it's definitely worth watching and worth watching more than once.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure. I
it's
already
it's definitely the
yeah.
kind of movie where you'll get more out of it when you watch it again.
I'll read the book
And
and then I'll watch the movie again because I feel like it's
nice.
going to help a lot more with understanding and seeing maybe the direction that he went with both of it.
Yeah.
So give me that
Awesome.
book. Give me that book.
Okay, you got it.
Awesome. Well, for our movie club picks, just because with Tenet, we kind of went the whole Christopher Nolan route. Uh, I recommended Insomnia, and then you did Interstellar. Um, but we can talk about
Mhm.
Insomnia first. I haven't seen it before, and I enjoyed it. This is your second time seeing it, so
Mhm.
when
So
was the first time that you saw it?
okay, so cool. I'm excited to talk about this. So the first time that I saw this was I must have been like I don't know, maybe 16 or 17. Um, so it was a long time ago, and I watched it, after I got into Christopher Nolan's other films, like I mean, obviously the Dark Knight movies and Inception, um, The Prestige, and Memento, and I think that yeah, I watched this movie after watching those, and I remember I really enjoyed the movie at the time, but it left me almost a little bit disappointed. And I've always kind of considered it one of Christopher Nolan's worst movies. Which I mean, he has no worst movies. I mean, all of his movies are great. So I mean, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But it was never one of my favorites. Just because I think I was expecting something more of an Inception or a Memento kind of movie, and this movie is it's more it's a mystery and a thriller and a drama, but it doesn't have some of those, it doesn't have any crazy like sci-fi things like Tenet or weird, like the whole thing with Memento. It's pretty. it's a pretty kind of simple. I mean, compared to Nolan's other films, it's a pretty simple story about um, two LA homicide detectives that go to this town to investigate a murder of some teen that died, and 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 the well and the whole story of it is Al Pacino's character. He um, he accidentally kills his partner in the beginning of the movie, and his partner was going to uh, testify against him, um, like in the near future. And it was when he was so they're chasing the killer in the fog or whatever, and he accidentally kills him, and it's him dealing with that, and he has insomnia because it keeps him up at night, and then Robin Williams plays the killer, which he was so good. Uh, and both Al Pacino and Robin Williams, I think, were great in this movie. Um,
All right.
but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty yeah, and it's a pretty simple story. I mean, compared to something like Inception or Interstellar, or,
It was definitely
these
a lot
those.
easier to understand in the direction that he was trying to go.
hmm And so I think at the time, I mean, I was a teenager watching this, and I really enjoyed it, but I was like hoping for something like another Memento or something like that. And so it kind of, like I liked it a lot, but it sort of left me a little bit disappointed. So watching it again now, I really appreciated the movie a lot more. Um, and yeah, I think it's really great, and I like um, the themes and um, what Al Pacino's character is going through, and the interesting kind of dynamic between him and Robin Williams, and just kind of where the story goes. I thought was really, really good. So it was good watching it again because I think it's a great movie. But yeah, what did you think? I mean, watching it this is your first time, so what were your thoughts?
I mean, I was just stuck between the whole time trying to think if I enjoyed Robin Williams as Popeye or if I enjoyed Robin Williams in this one. So it's a toss up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy when you have some of these goofy comedic characters in serious roles. And so it
Uh,
was really nice to see Robin Williams' character in it and just seeing how it played out with Al Pacino. And I loved that connection that they had and just the whole process of him accidentally killing his partner, but then Robin Williams kind of being the killer that they're trying to hunt. Spoiler alert. Um, he's like, "Hey, you accidentally did that, and I accidentally killed this girl. So I mean, we both were wrong, but in reality, like, they were both accidents." And so I just
mhm.
liked how like Christopher Nolan kind of like went in this route of this detective kind of being like a bad cop, and then later in the movie you find out the reason why he was going to get testified by his partner was because he did some dirty stuff on a suspect that he arrested. And so it's just interesting how in reality the cop and then this murder, they both have dirt on each other, and then it's like who's gonna win at the end, like who's gonna prevail. And then in the background you have Hillary, kind of piecing together this up and coming detective that takes over and kind of
Mhm.
figures it out throughout the movie, like what's exactly happening. So I did
Yeah.
enjoy it. I loved how they did it in Alaska. I loved the whole insomnia aspect where he's not being able to sleep, and Robin Williams is calling like, "Hey, you beat my record of like 6 days, like staying up. Like I only got to 4." And so it's just how they filmed everything with that, where the light is just glaring into the room, even though it's dark in there, but he just can't sleep, just with all the guilt and stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and it definitely, like you were saying, like it's definitely a different Christopher Nolan movie, but it does have some aspects of his that I really enjoyed seeing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that a lot of times in Christopher Nolan's movies, they're not. when I think of Christopher Nolan's films, I don't think about them being like a character study or
Yeah.
like being a drama really. And I think it's interesting because these two, Insomnia and Interstellar, they both I think I really enjoy these because they are different in
Hmm.
some ways to his other films. Like uh, this is very much a drama and it is a character study, and you really kind of get into you kind of just get into these characters and what they're going through, and then the whole aspect with Hilary Swank is interesting too. How she's assigned um, to his partner's death, and she's figuring it out as it goes along, and you could tell like even maybe like midway through the movie like she kind of already thinks there's something up with Al Pacino's character, but she keeps figuring it out, and um, she finds the casing of the 9 millimeter bullet, uh, which with the movie he switched he took that or whatever, and he used a what was it, 38 or
Yeah.
something like that, and then he hid the gun. He tried to hide the gun in Robin Williams' place, but Robin Williams took it and put it
Oh,
in
I love that
her
scene.
boyfriend's.
It might be like in a heat event on the ground floor, and then you just know Al Pacino's like,
Yes,
"Oh shit!"
yeah, yeah. He's God damn it, yeah. And speaking of that, I really liked the reveal of Robin Williams where Al Pacino's in his apartment and you just see Robin Williams outside the door,
Oh yeah,
and he knows that he's in there, and he just takes off, and then they have like this chase. Oh yeah, and then the chase, I like the chase too, and
yeah.
where
The
they're
logs.
running across the logs, and then Al Pacino, when he falls in there, like that was stressing me out because I'm like, oh geez, like how that would freak me out, like if all those logs and you can't get up. Um, but I enjoyed that. I just like that reveal of Robin Williams' character.
No, it's so
Um,
true. And then just like the whole connection they have where he just calls them like repeatedly. It's like one of those movies where
mm,
like the killer's kind of like teasing with like the cop. It just like
yeah.
reminds me of those kind of movies, and it's just the cop is getting annoyed, like, well, let's meet up, let's talk. And the guy's like, nah, like,
Hmm.
just like this like sly thing, like where we've already like done something, and the cop's like so confused, like, where have I been associated with this guy before? And so I like that they kind of did that, and I feel like it was implemented really well into the movie.
Agreed. Agreed. And I like the ending too. I mean, there's a shootout in the ending, and um, Al Pacino gets shot, and he's gonna die, and he's talking to Hilary Swank's character,
Hmm.
and before that moment, you know, she she asks him, um, she asks him about it and everything, and Al Pacino's character is like, I I don't know if it was an accident or not anymore. He's like,
Yeah,
when I went over to him, he was scared and he thought that I did it on purpose. He's like, so maybe I did. He's like, I don't even know anymore.
I thought that was a really
Um,
cool scene because then it kind of had me thinking, like, wait, did he do it on accident? Maybe
yeah.
he didn't. So I like how he said it that way.
Hmm. And then I like how she was going to she believed that it was an accident and she was gonna get rid of the evidence, and she was gonna forget about it, and because if he was gonna die, didn't want to just kind of let it blow over or whatever. But he's like, no, he's like, hold on to your integrity, basically. Like, don't.
Hmm.
He's like, just keep it. Do what you got to do. So I like that. I thought it was a good ending. The other thing too, I don't know if you saw this, but this is actually a remake of a Norwegian film
I
from a few years before, which I have not seen, but I do really want to watch it now because I'm curious. I'm just curious to see what's the different. I mean, I feel like if Christopher Nolan's making a remake of something, like I imagine that
that was the
there's a purpose.
1997 one, correct?
Mm-hmm. and it's streaming on Criterion Channel. It's in the Criterion Collection. I've always wanted to watch that one, but I never have. Um, but that one looks good too. I'll probably check that out because I'm curious to see the differences between the two.
Stellan Skarsgård, isn't it?
Yeah, Skarsgård. So yeah, I'm sure that's good too.
Yeah, because when I was looking up, I saw the two titles, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I was a little bit, I don't know, in the very beginning, I wasn't sure like exact the direction was going to go because it definitely felt different from some of his other movies.
Hmm.
But I feel like it really came full circle for me where I started really enjoying the movie when he accidentally like shoots his partner, and it's like, oh shit, like what is he gonna do now? Like how is he gonna hide it? Like what's gonna happen to him? And so I did enjoy it, and
Good.
it was a good Christopher Nolan movie, and I think a lot of people should watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely one. It's the movie where like this is like your last Christopher Nolan movie that you needed to watch. It was pretty much mine when I first saw it, and I think it's most people's. Like they're like, okay, I've seen like all of his other movies. Like, okay, now let me watch Insomnia.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people haven't seen this one, and um, I would definitely recommend watching it if you haven't seen it because it is a really good movie, and I know it's his. I think it's his most underrated movie. I don't think it gets the same kind of appreciation that I
it
think
definitely
it
gets lost.
deserves. Yeah, it does. So
So
check it out.
what do you rate it?
I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Look
I
at
think
that.
it's pretty
I
pretty
gave it
great.
4 out of 5 stars as well.
I think we agree almost. I feel like we agree most of the time,
Except
which is good,
1917, right?
except 1917. It's a poopy movie. Just kidding. Um, but uh, but yeah, we need to. I can't wait to. One of these days, we're gonna pick something where we're gonna really disagree. But I think for the most part, we're either
Hey, you might love
we're pretty
Mulan.
close. Yeah, maybe.
You might love that
Yeah, well,
Mulu movie.
but I doubt it. Um, but anyway.
Well,
So
the second one that we watched was Interstellar, and that was your pick.
yeah, so we watched Interstellar. Um, I I wanted to watch this one again because we were obviously we were picking Christopher Nolan films, and Nate hadn't seen Insomnia, and I kind of wanted to talk about Interstellar because this is another one where um this one I think is one of his most, it might be his most divisive film, where a lot of people did not like this movie or didn't like it nearly as much as some of his other films, which I remember at the time when it came out I thought was so insane because
Yeah,
this one immediately became one of my favorites. I feel like this was immediately like for sure like in like top 3 Christopher Nolan films for me. Um, I absolutely love it, and I wanted to watch it again to make sure that I'm right. Like, wait, is it really as good as I thought it was? And so I hadn't seen it since, I don't think I've seen it since it came out, and it was nice rewatching it. And this is another movie that deals with time and space and a lot of things. There's a lot of things in this movie, and I think it's pretty dang good. What do
shout
you
out
think
to
about it?
Michael Caine.
Yeah, Michael Caine. I'll do it.
Um, when it comes to Interstellar, I remember not hearing, hearing a little bit about it and, thinking that it's going to be another good one. I remember watching it. I was confused, obviously, but I really enjoyed how he filmed it, the outer space aspect of it, going to different planets, And then the second time watching it was just kind of in and out. It was on TV or whatever. But this being my third time, I really was able to appreciate it so much more. And I was able to catch on to some little, aspects of the movie that he's done that kind of you didn't catch the first time, but now you caught onto it.
Hmm.
Like one of my favorite part of the film is when they go to the planet where the time is different because being closer to the black hole. And I love that aspect of the film because in the background he has a tick like a clock ticking when they're on that planet. And I that always seen it this third time that grabbed my attention. I loved how he implemented that into the scene because it makes you really think that time is ticking. Like they're on this planet and every hour is 7 years. And so every time you hear this ticking going on, you just know that time is going on. And so I just loved how he did those little aspects into the movie because it really just grabs your attention. And I thought it was shot really good as well. So
Hmm.
I love outer space movies. It just made me think of um, some of the other ones that have come out like in the last couple of years, and I uh just yeah, for it coming out in 2014, just seeing like how even now 6 years later, it's still a really good movie to go back and watch.
Yeah, I think of these type of sci-fi, um, in outer space movies. This is one of the best ones for sure. Like I think, you know, 2001: A Space Odyssey will always be the best, but this might be like the second best. I don't know. I don't know what else it could be. I just think this movie is
Oh yeah,
so good. And it's so intense too. And like you're saying, it was shot really well, and I think it was just really well made, and all the effects were great. Um, the the sound design is really good with
Hans
the little
Zimmer,
things
of
like the
course.
ticking. Yeah, and I really like the score a lot for this one. I think it's kind of I feel like it's a little bit different for um typical like Hans Zimmer, Christopher Nolan movies, and I really enjoyed that. Like some of the score reminded me of like um uh what's his name? Why can't I think of um wow. I was gonna try. I'm doing a quick search. It's making me mad. Of like John Carpenter scores. It reminded me of had that kind of feel of like John Carpenter, but with that the epicness of typical Hans Zimmer scores, and I thought it was really good. It definitely it stood out a lot to me this time, and um, I love that. Uh, and this time watching it, it I mean this is I think by far for me this is the most dramatic and
Yeah,
emotional movies that
probably because
Christopher
we're
Nolan
older
has done.
now.
Yeah. um, but this movie, I think I cried a little bit watching it this time, to be honest.
What scene did you
Which
cry in?
I started crying in the beginning, man. Like so in the beginning, when he's when he's finally he's gonna go, and Murph has she's like, but I figured out what the ghost is trying to say. It's saying stay, and I'm like, oh no.
No.
Ugh. Like that part, I mean, just seeing, the scenes where and I think it's also just I think Matthew McConaughey is so good in this
Yeah, he
movie.
is.
And the scenes where he's watching his kids send their messages, when he's sitting there crying, listening to them and seeing them grow up, and seeing that he has, a grandkid, and just realizing how much time has gone by, and the scene when his daughter finally sends him a message and is like, "Hey, well, I'm you said that I you might be we might be the same age when you come back. Well,
Yeah.
today's my whatever birthday, and we're the same age as when you left. And it's just those things that really kind of trip me up because it's just bizarre and crazy to think about. How much time has gone by and um, how long he's been gone for. And then when he finally sees her in the end, it was really sweet and so just crazy to see how old she was.
Yeah,
But
it's emotional, that connection between him and his daughter.
mhm.
And I think they did a really good job kind of having that come full circle. Just like, how I was mad at him like pretty much her whole life because of everything, and then she finds out by getting that equation and everything that he was the ghost. And it's such an emotional scene, where she's crying. She's like, "You were my ghost. You were my ghost." And so yeah, it's such a
Yeah.
good movie. I really was able to appreciate this a lot more, and I was glued the whole time, even though me seeing it my third time. I just really appreciate the way that Christopher Nolan told this story and directed
Yeah.
it.
And it's long too. It's like,
Yeah, it's
I mean,
almost
it's
3 hours.
almost 3 hours, but it didn't even watching it again,
Hmm.
it didn't feel like it. It really, it went by fast for me. I was just
Oh
so
yeah, same.
invested. And it felt like I was watching it again for the first time, which was nice. I was just just excited and just I love it. It's great, and it was fun seeing like certain things like watching Timothy Chalamet, who I think at the time when I saw it didn't really know who he was, because
Exactly.
he's kind of blown up since then, and it's funny seeing him, and then seeing how he grows up into Casey Affleck, which is kind of funny. Um, and I really like Jessica Chastain's performance.
Hmm.
I like her a lot. I think she was really good as Murph, as old Murph. Um, and yeah, oh yeah. What I think one of my I don't know if I have any other complaints, but I think my probably my only complaint about this movie is I I totally forgot that Topher Grace was in this movie. And as soon as he showed up, I was like, ah, no. Like,
No,
he just
yeah. I
kind
feel
of,
like every scene that he's in is just so awkward, and the only thing I can think of is Spider-Man 3. It like just,
yeah.
where he's like talking to everybody. He's like, "We gotta go. Like, it's not healthy for them to be here." It's like, bro, like
Hmm.
this just like I get what you're trying to do, but like stop. Like this isn't important right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really like him.
And it doesn't really
And
introduce him like really. He just like shows up
yeah.
and then he's a part of it. And so I guess like if
Yeah,
they
it's
maybe
just
would have
like,
introduced him as a character and like what his role was,
ugh.
maybe I would have understood, but he just
And if he was
appears.
cast by someone else,
Yeah.
if it was someone else that was playing him, I don't know. And he wasn't too bad, and he wasn't in it that much, so it's fine. Um, but it was enough where I was like, I don't know.
It just felt out of place.
Yeah, I just was surprised. I'm like, why would Christopher Nolan cast Topher Grace? Like, it just doesn't. I don't know. Everyone else was great. I think everyone in the movie is really good. And even like Matt Damon's character, who's not in it for long, but he was really great in it too.
Yeah.
Um,
That
I
whole
think,
scene is crazy too.
yeah.
Even watching it a third time, just like how like that he and it's seeing it the third time, it's just interesting because the first time you watch it, you're like mad at Matt Damon, but then like watching it this third time, it's almost like some people are able to understand the purpose of the mission, and they were willing to sacrifice because they knew the risk. But in this one, well, this scenario with Matt Damon, he was like, I can't do this by myself. Like I don't want to be by myself. Like this was
Hmm.
not what I expected. I thought I was old and I'm stuck on this terrible planet, and he is willing to leave everybody behind. And it makes me think of what the plot of the movie is and like the whole purpose of why they were trying to leave Earth. And he was like, yeah, well, your dad understood the risk and how we were gonna have to leave people behind. And, it's just even Matt Damon was like, yeah, I'm leaving Earth to leave everybody to die so we can find a new planet, but I'm willing to leave you as well here on this planet so I can go and live somewhere else. And so it was just interesting to have that perspective and to see Matt Damon really just give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It was interesting. And when they fight and he's trying to just leave. Uh,
I think my second favorite scene as well is when he tries to dock on the ship, Matt Damon's
oh
character.
yeah.
I love how that explosion was silent.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it was silent. And then you just hear like all the alarms going off like after it, and then it's like getting loud. I think he did a really good job on that.
Yeah, I like that too. And when they docked and they had like spin, I like that scene. It's cool.
Yeah, dude. That spinning motion. I don't
That's
I
that
probably
spin.
throw up.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Pass
like
out too.
riding on Mission Space at Disney. Um, but okay, let me tell you something. So tell me if this sounds right to you. So on Rotten Tomatoes, this has 72%, which is the lowest score for a Christopher Nolan directed film. What do you think about that?
I think people I don't know. It's like I I I have no idea. I feel like people really appreciate Christopher Nolan and the movies that he directs, but I just feel like they maybe place him in this category of what he did with Batman, and they don't maybe take his other works as seriously. And so like when I compare Interstellar or The Prestige or Insomnia, I think of it just as him being a director and exploring in a different way. And I just feel like sometimes they hold you to these movies that you already direct. And so
Hmm.
they bring it down a little bit instead of
Yeah.
being like, oh,
Well,
hey, like this was really good. Like, I love the direction you went with it. So I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, I definitely think that's what we're seeing right now with Tenet. Like Tenet has, I mean, a fairly low for for how good it is. It has like 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think it's the same thing where people are like, "Oh, like I don't know, Inception's better, dude." Um, I think that there's a lot of that. I mean, there's definitely a lot of weight um, when it comes to Christopher Nolan's movies. I mean, there's high expectations at this point, so that makes sense. But I just think it's crazy because for me, I think Interstellar is one of the best,
Oh, yeah, same.
and all of everything, all of his other movies, like they all have pretty high scores for the most part, like 93, 87, 94. I just think it's crazy that Interstellar had the lowest, and a lot of people don't like it, but going on Letterboxd, it was nice because I see most of the people that I follow
Yeah.
and just in general really love it. There's definitely some people that like gave it 1 star or something stupid like that, but I'm just like, really, bro?
You really?
Like 1 star? It makes no sense, but I love it. Uh, I think it's. I really love all of his films. Um, but I would consider Interstellar one of his best.
So, what's your ranking?
Oof, you go first, or how do we want to do this? Because this is tough.
I'll go first.
Here, how about do? Wait, let me see. How many films does he have? 11. Have
Yeah.
you seen Following?
That's the only one I haven't seen. So,
Okay. How about this? Go through your. So for you, starting from 10, go from like 10 to 5, or like 10 to 6 or whatever, and then I'll do my 10 to 6, and then you do 5 to 1, and then I'll do 5 to 1. How about that? Or you just wanted to start reading them off?
no, 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 that's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, okay. Just to build up the hype, for the
Okay.
for the 5 through 1.
So we're discluding following. Just making sure.
For you, I mean,
Okay.
I'm gonna
I tried
include
to
Following
watch
because
it,
I've
but
seen.
I didn't have time.
That's
So,
okay.
but I'll have to watch it.
I need
Okay,
to watch it again too, so maybe we can watch it at some point.
now I know this is gonna be controversial, but
That's what I want to hear.
my 10 is Dunkirk,
Ooh, okay.
and then The Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, Memento, Insomnia. That's my 10 to 6.
So, can you read that again for me?
Okay, so yeah, 10
Do it again.
Dunkirk, 9
Uh-huh.
Dark Knight Rises, 8
Okay.
Batman Begins, 7
Okay.
Memento, and 6 is Insomnia.
Oh. Okay. Cool. Interesting. Um. All right. So mine. So 11. I put following. 10. Dark Knight Rises. 9. Insomnia. 8. Batman Begins. 7. Dunkirk. And then 6 is Tenet. So that's mine. You got any beef with that?
No, we had the same number 8.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
Batman
good.
Begins.
Wait, before we keep going though, let me tell you what I have beef with. So I know that
I've only seen Dunkirk once, and
Oh,
I
okay,
will
okay.
admit I've only seen it once,
Okay, okay.
and it wasn't in the theater. It was at home,
Ah,
and it is a
that's a big
movie I
problem.
definitely want to rewatch, and
Okay.
I know it will change. So I know I only have Dunkirk that low because it's like the most like it's like the one movie I've
Okay.
only seen one all these.
Okay. I get that. Especially seeing at home and not in theaters because that was another I mean with any of his movies, like you have to see him like in IMAX.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's obviously not, it's not in my top five, but I do. It's right there, kind of in the middle. I do love Dunkirk, and I'm actually gonna watch it again sometime soon, hopefully this
Woo.
week. Um, but yeah, great movie. Okay, well that was my beef, so never mind. I'm not gonna get into the beef since you gotta rewatch it. I just think that's crazy, but that's okay.
I
I'm
know, I
glad.
know, I know.
It's okay. I mean, it's always gonna be different.
Hey, at least
And with my
Interstellar's not number.
list, yeah, I would be like, what? But with this list, I feel like it might change like during this week because I'm gonna
Oh yeah,
watch some
same.
of these other movies, and I think it might change. So right now, it just this is what it is right now, but it could change like at any moment. Like who knows? But I tried to.
And I
We're
feel
doing
like
our best. We're doing our best.
in all these
We're trying
movies,
to.
I will rewatch and I definitely will change it. It's just going off of like I have seen a while or I have seen
Yeah.
some of these movies. So obviously the newer ones I've seen like are gonna be higher for right now. But
Hmm.
once I rewatch like the rest of these, I'll probably change it again. But my number 5 is Tenet. Number
Okay.
4 is Inception. Number
Ooh.
3 is The Prestige. Number 2 is The Dark Knight, and then number 1 is Interstellar.
Ooh, nice. Love to see it. Um, so mine, let me look at mine. Mine might change. This it's so tough. It's so hard. Like I feel like the top five, like any of the top five could be number one. Like I
Oh
feel like
yeah,
it could
no.
change in any order. So take this with a grain of salt. But my number five is Memento. My number four is The Prestige, which I haven't seen in a while. So when I watch that, that could change. Three, Interstellar. Two, The Dark Knight. That's the same for us. And then one, I have Inception as my number one.
And see, Inception, I haven't seen probably since 2012, and
Uh
so
huh.
that's gonna be one I actually when I was watching Interstellar, I was like, I want to watch Inception. I want to watch Inception. I want to. So
Yeah.
sometime this week, I'm probably gonna watch Inception. I know it'll
Sweet.
probably change, but Dark Knight, man, it's one of those where it's one of my all-time favorite movies, like in every category and everything like that. But
Mm,
I just
agreed.
obviously Dark Knight, like superhero stuff. I love that aspect of it, but I love Interstellar. Just and that reason why it's my number one is just because of the story and how it was filmed and
Yeah.
everything. I just really enjoyed it. But
Yeah,
Mine's the same as you. Like
love them.
my top five. Well, I would say my top four could be number one. Any of those movies. So
Yeah, and then also for me with Tenet, I don't know right now. Like I think like it will probably stay around there, but it could change. I feel like I just saw it. I need to see it again, and then I need to let time pass, to
yeah,
think about it. And maybe in a year from now, I'll know more of like where it actually fits uh, on the list. But but yeah, uh, yeah, I love The Dark Knight too. I mean, I watched it again a couple weeks ago, and it's still I think it's still the best comic book movie that's ever been made. I absolutely love it. I think it's perfect.
I loved it. It's so good.
Yeah,
Heath Ledger
so good.
was amazing as Joker.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was. Yeah, great movies.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, comment below. Let us know what are your
yeah.
favorite Christopher Nolan movies. We want to know. Or do you disagree with us? Do you think Interstellar's poopy? Is it his worst? Is it the worst film?
I think Interstellar's number 10.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely some people
No,
that
I know.
think that. So maybe we're wrong. Maybe it's a bad movie.
We're wrong on the
I don't know.
spectrum.
Yeah, we probably are. But we're doing our best, guys. We're doing our best. That's all we can do.
Well,
Sweet.
awesome.
Well, that was
Yeah,
fun.
everybody watch these movies and go see Tenet. It's that movie theater experience, you should be safe. You should be fine. Wear a mask. Be safe out there. And then definitely watch I'm Thinking of Ending Things. It's a good movie as well on Netflix. So,
Eats good.
and if you want to watch Mulan and pay $30, go ahead. But I would strongly tell you not to. So
Don't do
don't
it.
do it. Just wait till December. It's fine. You're not missing much. Just watch the cartoon. You should be fine. But yeah, thanks for listening. See you, everybody.
Bye.